I'm totally sick of that. Another for me difficult thing, again those angles. I needed to figure out how to make that without any room to play. So I needed it to be good directly. I measured from all points, from there to there diagonally, but also this and that and whatever, to get an idea what the dimensions would be. And that is complicated because again, no 90 degrees angles. I just needed to cut off a little bit that side, that corner, and that's it. It fits now. I'll show you. You see, the next thing is that I need to put screws in it at the right places, which I cannot see, so I drew some lines at the places where the, I don't know what it's called. It's that, those wooden strips. You know, one great thing about being ready with the boat in a few weeks is that I don't have to explain anything anymore, of which I don't know how it's called. I'm totally sick of that. That's for sure. I mean, a lot of terms I know in my own language, in Dutch, like those strips are called rachelhout. You don't know what rachelhout is, so I need to find an English word for it to explain what I'm doing. So, totally sick of it. Next thing I need to do is cut a hole here and over here. Here is for the warm water heater. Here approximately the hatch. So I make a small hole over here so I can see what I'm doing. Not totally right, but the ceiling is not straight. Didn't see that. It doesn't matter. I can close it up with epoxy. Almost. So the woodwork is kind of ready. I did all the walls, ceilings, also these edges, everything. And for this wall, which has cork on it, we are planning to do some, I don't know, we'll see. Anyway, we leave that for a while. Now there's actually one thing left before I can start epoxying everything together. And that is this. This is the outlet for the warm water heater. And the original thing that was there was this. There's some holes here for bolts that kept the pipe centered. But as you see, it is a little molten. But because I cannot make this out of plastic again, I'm going to use two pieces of plywood stacked on each other. It's 2 x 12 mm, which is approximately this. I think it's going to work. What I'm doing now is connecting everything with epoxy. It's 2-component clear glass epoxy. I put a lot of cotton powder in it, very fine cotton powder, to make it thick like peanut butter approximately. And I use it to smoothen everything out like this. There's two sheets of 4mm plywood touching each other or laying over each other a little bit, and I wanted to make this one piece. So I use it for that and also to connect them with each other. And I'm gonna do that with everything, also to cover up all the screw holes and connections in between two different sheets, and to make this all waterproof. As you can see, I already did this yesterday. I'm going to paint this all with polyurethane, also 2-component paint, white paint, because this is where the water maker is gonna be. If it's gonna leak or whatever, or I do something wrong, I want this to be safe. So here's what I did up till now. It looks okay. I mean, I need to sand it and all, give it better shape. But at least I'm more than halfway, so that's nice. And what I'm gonna do now is trying to change this whole dirty thing into something decent. The big problem is that is lower than this, and that is lower than that. When there's water splashing all around, when you use the faucet, it will puddle over there. You can see it now, it's dirty because of the wood dust. It's all pooling over there, and I want to do something about that. And there are some old holes here and there, like this. I think there's been a manual pump once, and these taps are rubbish too. We have a hot water and a cold water tap, and we're not going to use the hot water anyway. We already bought a new tap, a big one. As you can see, if you try to wash your hands, it's almost impossible to get it under the water. So that's why I want to replace this, and this needs to go, and I want to get rid of that thing over there. Just close it up too. So I'm going to remove some stuff and then make something beautiful. Yes. So this is a little vague because there is no hole over here. So I absolutely don't have any idea what this was for. Anyway, it doesn't matter because this is easier because the holes are way smaller than I expected. So the taps are fixed under here behind the sink with a big nut. I have no idea how I can reach that with my tools. Man, this is not easy. Why didn't we buy an 80-footer with lots of room? Oh yeah, money. If I break something, it's your fault. I couldn't film it because Anya and I needed to do this together. I had no place for filming and no hands either, so they're loose now and I can go further with my demolishing work. So, why is this? What's the reason behind this? Because there's no holes here except for these ones. Don't get it. Okay, I quit working because it's Friday evening, 6:30. It's done for today, for the weekend. After the weekend, I do the rest so the epoxy can harden out. Something else, huh? This week we broke I broke the shower head. So I fitted a new one, but now I feel this steel part of the shower head that I broke off. It is so heavy. This is thick, heavy stainless steel. I think it's 30 years old as the boat, from the time they made strong stuff. They should make them like this now. Next step is sanding the toilet, or toilet room, or whatever you want to call it in your country. So I'm going to sand all the epoxy that I did. Start with P50 sandpaper, and then I think some P220, I don't know. And my beloved flappy disc thingy. This is a 120. It's less rough than what I normally use, and I'm going to use that to make nice round edges, like here, and some rougher spots. And then of course the painting. Of course I first do a layer of primer. I'm gonna paint this white. We use the same paint as we used all over the boat. You can see it here. Actually it is made for hospital walls and all, so it's easy to clean. Love the stuff, and it's a little flexible. It's not cracking or whatever. So I'm going to use it for the ceiling and the walls, except for this wall, because this wall is for the water maker. I'm going to use polyurethane, 2-component polyurethane white paint to make everything waterproof.
And I'm going to use a mask because epoxy dust is not good for your lungs.
So I'm halfway. The sanding, it is tiring. When you see it on video, it looks like I do it in a few minutes, but it's lots of work. So I'm halfway to sanding. That means that I did all the rough stuff with the flappy disc. Works well. So I might make all these sharp edges and neatly round. So now I have to check everything with the light sandpaper, with the 220, to see if it's really smooth enough. Because when you don't make it totally smooth, the epoxy is hard. So if you even have a little ridge of epoxy and you're starting to paint, you can do that all over again, because you can't make it go away. You can't sand a little bit because you ruin the whole stuff. And I say that out of experience. Sometimes I'm so stupid. So I need to go over all those surfaces with my hand and feel if it's smooth enough. If not, I have to sand it a little bit more, so that I have a good starting position to start painting. So I painted the whole toilet with primer, the thin stuff, and it's dry. Next day now, and I'm going to paint it white. I'm going to do something different because I wanted to paint this with polyurethane, 2-component polyurethane paint. Not going to do that because the paint we use here on everything, the white paint, is meant for hospitals. You can scrub it with water and get it clean, so it doesn't actually make sense to do polyurethane here. It's nice to have everything the same, so that's why I'm going to use the normal paint. By the way, I purposely choose to first paint everything before I do the fine tuning. It's not perfectly smooth, and I'm gonna fix that with some white stucco, whatever, white stuff, filler, with white filler. So when I first paint everything, I can clearly see where all the not smooth areas are, and that is way easier. As you can see, everything is painted for the first time now, but there's enough places that are not smooth. Don't like it, needs to be smooth. It's mostly screw holes, but also edges that are not perfect. It's again quite a lot of work, but the end result will be way better. So the ceilings are ready, as you can see. We are quite happy with it. Like everything we do, it's not perfect, but I think it looks good. It looks so much better than it looked before we started this. Just put a layer of transparent epoxy over this to make it waterproof. I mean, this stuff is of course waterproof, it's PVC, but in between there's also epoxy now. So this is probably the end of another episode. Hope you liked it. If you like it and you want to see more, subscribe down below. Ring the bell if you want to get notified when we upload a new video. And a thumbs up, always appreciated. See you later. Bye.